Everyone is in sales over here, yes?
Yes.
So I've got my two lovely colleagues over there, the lovely ladies over there. Do you think they're in sales?
Yes.
Okay. Could you let them know what you do? Because, please. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I just met Rohit actually at the Asian Professional Speakers Convention just over the weekend. And I'm in the healthcare industry. So I manage two dental practices, but I'm also a parallel entrepreneur. I have another business that is dealing with education. Yeah. So when you're talking about Ikigai, my Ikigai is to create the change that I want to see in this world, especially in the healthcare and education.
Thank you very much. And the lady in red.
Hi everyone, my name is Patna. I met Rohit at also Asian Professional Speakers Academy. What I'm doing is that I'm actually working for a training consulting firm. So it's a small boutique firm, so I in Singaporean terms, pao liao. So I'm happy to support Rohit and hope you all enjoy yourself.
Okay. So they've done an introduction. Do you think they're in sales?
Yes.
Do you think your receptionist is in sales?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the reception downstairs is in sales?
Yes.
Why do you think they're in sales?
Everyone
Everyone is
is.
in sales. Everyone at the end of the day is sales. So even if you go to your next job, yeah, you'll have to sell your skills that this is what I do. So even when you were getting married, you had to show the best part of you. And then the naked truth came out. Oh my God. Too late. Take it or take it. No return policy, no refund. It's funny, when we get these certificates, you usually have a validity date at the end. But on a marriage certificate, there doesn't seem to be that validity date. It's like, where is it? It's missing. Now, so we all are in sales, and I call this soul of sales, and you'll see the reason why I call it the soul of sales. It was in 1986, a 10-year-old boy, he did his first sale. He did his very first sale. He didn't know he did a sale. All he knew was that he helped someone. And they purchased whatever was required, and the sale was done. And the boy was very happy, got the pocket money. He can go down the sweet shop and get whatever he wants. Fast forward, he graduates. He's looking for a job. This is now, he's 23 years old. He's looking for 21 years old. And he's looking for a job. And he manages to get a sales job. And when he gets that sales job, within half an hour, he leaves the company. Any reason you think why he left the company? Why do you think?
Rejection.
Rejection? Anything else? So rejection from probably someone? It's not new to him. It was far deeper than that. The way they were doing the sales was very unethical. The way they spoke to the clients made the clients feel really bad that it was a hard sell and a bad emotional sell. And he could not deal with that. And he walked out. 2011, this young man is now a grown young man. He starts his own business, and there's only one thing which is worrying him. Guess what? Sales. Because he has this picture of sales that it is people who are in the sales profession are liars, they're scums, they cheat people. And how many in this room have heard this about salespeople? And do you think You're liars,
No.
cheats. Yeah? No?
We are very nice people.
We're very nice people.
We're
So-
the best in Singapore.
This young man then decides, okay, he needs to sell. There's no choice, otherwise, how's he gonna run his business? He started learning across the globe what's happening. How do people sell? Now, what makes people buy from you? Rather than selling, what makes people buy? And because of his background, these three countries made a big difference to him, because that's where he learned quite a lot of it. One being London, one being his origins, India, and then Dubai.
That's me.
Yes, it's me. Okay. It is absolutely me. That was meant to be in the next one. Why did you say it now? You spoiled the surprise.
We are so fast.
So, as it's me, through the years I've been looking at many places, and I've looked at the Far East as well and seen how people sell. I'm a learner in sales. And there's certain commonalities which I've seen in sales. And because of that, what's happened is I came up with something called Soul of Sales. Because this is how I was able to connect to sales, and this is how I've helped other people who hate selling, or people who are very proficient in sales, to go the next level up, or really be extremely good at what they're doing. They're good, but now we're talking at a very different level. Due to that, I had the opportunity to even put that particular write-up about Soul of Sales in this particular book, Success Mastery with Jack Canfield. So that's how I got into it. So what did I learn? The first thing which I learned is I saw three main types of salespeople. The first one, I defined that salesperson as the clown. Simple, straightforward as a clown. Why do I call that person a clown? Because they're always jolly, joyful, and they will never see the bad side of anything. And even if it's the thing is collapsing, even if it's not great for the client, they'll say it's the best thing. Yeah, hey, go for it. Awesome, just love it. Big smile. Yeah? They're just on that thing. That's one type of salesperson. Everything is great, awesome, yeah. When things go trouble, now everything's great, and they run away. You've got the other salesperson who's what I define as the miserable salesperson. They will look at everything possible that could go wrong, and that's why you need to buy the service or the product which I'm offering you. So that's the whole focus. So they work on that emotion of making you feel so vulnerable that people buy from that person. And then you've got the third salesperson. Now this is the most dangerous salesperson, the psychopath salesperson. You have no clue where they're coming from. They change like this. It's like all over. You know, they're very good. All three of them achieve results. I'm not saying they're not going to achieve results. They do achieve results. But there's one very big issue with all these three salespeople. They leave the client hanging in the middle of nowhere. And that's not a good place to be in. Question to everyone. Have you ever been, as a buyer in a sales deal, where you felt really bad about the sales, where, why did I buy this? I was missold. Yeah? So in sales definition, they call it buyer's remorse. Now, buyer's remorse can happen with a bottle of water as well, but it doesn't hurt that much. It can happen with a phone. it amplifies the pain thus. Now imagine it happens with when you buy property or land. And because you've missold, the client has a heavy amount of buyer remorse. What do you think the client's going to say about that client, that salesperson and the company? Bad things. And that's not a good place to be in. So when I was research and looked, and this is through observation. I work on observation, read many things, but it was the observation which showed me there's one salesperson, which I say again, is the integration of the heart and the brain. And this is what I call the compassionate salesperson. They are there to help, to assist, to resolve a problem, to find a solution. If it means they cannot offer you a product or service, they will either recommend you someone else or will say, this is something beyond me. In IT terms, people usually tend to call these people trusted advisor. It's a coin this phrase was coined in the IT industry, but now I see it being used in other industries as well, called as trusted advisor. And this is very, very crucial when we're selling is, are you a compassionate salesperson or are you a clown, miserable, or the psychopath? I prefer being in the compassionate, not the psychopath. I see enough of those around. Here's a question to everyone. So just with your neighbor who's sitting next to you, this will also make sure that they get up as well. Question: what challenges, issues, problems are your client facing? So what are the challenges? Okay, not thinking in terms of you've done the sale. Before they come to you, why would they come to you? What is the challenge, issue, problem that they're facing or they're thinking about that they've come to you? Otherwise they wouldn't come to you, would they? They're thinking about something which makes you come to you. So I just want you to sit down, think about it. What is it? What is that challenge, issue? There's enough brains over here, enough experience, and there'll be a lot of them.
Fear of not getting back. Problem
Before they come to you, before they buy, why did they come to you? Why did they come to you? What was the reason? Yes. So just think about it, give you 2 minutes, discuss with it, and then I'll come back to you. Give you 2 minutes. I'm timing the 2 minutes. Even if you're going looking, they have something to tell you. You might go to them, or they might come to you, whichever way. There's a reason why they buy. So because they face something. Okay, let's look at this. So if you could just shout out one at a time, not all at once. I can't write that fast, and my handwriting is terrible. Oh yes, please, thank you. Okay, so please tell the lovely lady, shout it out. What is that problem?
Lack of retirement funds.
Lack of retirement funds.
Low interest rate. Cannot be inflation.
Cannot scam so many times.
Cannot what?
Scam. So they want to buy something that is more secure and stable. Safety.
Student education.
Went beyond.
Fight the inflation.
Fight inflation. Tangible assets.
You hide money from husband.
We know what's happening here.
Not hassle free. I was not less hassle.
The bankers disappointed.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, so very nice, Anthony. Could we give her applause? So quite a lot of reasons over there. So what does it mean when you're looking at this integration of the heart and the brain from a sales perspective? Now, if you look at we'll talk about the heart first. If you look at any client who wants to get involved in whatever they want to purchase, there's a couple of things which you need to be aware of. And that is trust, resolve, and support. The client should be able to trust you. But how do you measure trust? It's very intangible. Support. To a certain extent, you can measure support. Do you respond back in time and so forth? But again, it's more of a feely thing. And resolve. How do you resolve the issue? Are they actually 100% that you are actually resolving the issue, the problem, or the reasons why they've come from? These are very intangible things which are more of a matter of the heart. Let's take another example. Who's got an iPhone over here? Okay. Anyone got an Android? Who uses an Android? Okay, so let's look at this. Android people. Why? What was the reason you bought a Android? Easy. Easy to use.
Can change battery.
Can change the battery. Okay, what else? Cheaper. Okay, depending. Let's look at a Samsung and iPhone, almost the same. Yeah. Okay. Xiaomi is very cheap, yeah. But it's very good as well. We saw that in action. We were shocked how good it was. So anything else? Anything else about the Android?
Good camera.
Good camera. Apps are free.
Yeah.
Yeah. User friendly.
User friendly.
Okay. Let's look at the iPhone. So iPhone. I've got an iPhone as well. Okay. So. So iPhone for a brand perspective. What else?
The real phone.
It's the real phone. Whoa. Real phone. What else? It's. So say that again. It's pretty. So I was doing this same exercise in Dubai, and I asked one of the ladies. She's on quite a low wage, and she's got an iPhone, and she said she can't afford it. I said, so why did you buy it? Because all my friends have it.
Yeah.
Prestige.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. Everything, you see. So there's quite a lot of things. Now, if you look at all of this, it's a certain value. When we buy something, we measure in terms of value. There's a big challenge where people think value thinks it's just pricing. Actually, it's a lot of the intangibles, the heart stuff which is going on. So we need to be aware, what does the client really see as value? So yesterday, we were talking, and the word unique selling proposition, USP, kept on coming up. So what is your USP over here for your product? Yeah, hassle-free. Less hassle. As someone else said it. Anything else?
We're the only one who got endorsed by big boys like Hyatt Family, for example.
Okay, anything else?
We made
We are real estate.
We made something that the only billionaires normally can do. But
Only
now,
billionaires can, okay.
But now people like us also can.
Okay.
We make it.
We make it affordable.
So you make
Everybody
it.
can be mini billionaires.
Okay, that's nice.
It's a real hard asset.
In rupiah.
It's a real property and it's hard asset. And in Singapore, you cannot just buy one house with 10,000 US.
So it's so quite a lot of things in regards to, so that's your USP.
No, affordable billionaires toys.
Affordable billionaires toys. Okay, now USP, we know what it is. I'm just going to write that word, USP. Some call it unique selling proposition, unique selling point. Have you heard of features, advantages, benefits? What is the feature of your service product? What are the advantages? What are the benefits? These are common things which are used in this sales arena. I'm going to take it one step ahead for you, and this is very crucial in order for you to really understand what your clients value. This is a phrase coined by the Marketing Guild in the UK. UPB means unique perceived benefit by the client. Perceived. What they believe is the perceived benefit. Not what your unique selling proposition is, not what your features, advantages, benefits, but what your clients perceive it to be. And for you to understand that UPB, you need to talk to your clients and ask them, why did you buy from us? What was the reason you bought from us? Because when you do the next sale, you are more aware what the client wants to hear. Because the other clients have bought for that reason. You can do this all day round, but this is what will really make the difference when you understand what your client perceive as benefit from your service, the product which you sell to them. And that's when you really start understanding value. That's when you understand, do they trust you? Are you able to resolve their issues or challenges or problems? And are you able to support them the way they want to, because you're more aware of this now? So that's why the heart connection is extremely important, to see the value. Comfortable with that? Yes. Okay, now let's look at the next thing. What do you see? Two faces? A vase or a vase, depending which part of the world you come from. Okay. It could look at something else. Somebody might just say it's two lines. Yeah. Okay, here's the next thing. I want you to read this out, please. Everyone can read it.
And the connection of other letters. And then why?
Okay.
Conclusion.
Okay. Question to everyone. Is this a great piece of writing there? Great English, great spellings? Then how come you were all able to read it? Yeah, it's the way the words have been sequenced. The brain is able to descramble them and work out what it means. Okay, let's do. So we're getting brain exercises happening at the moment. Let's do another exercise, and this basically involves is, I want you to tell me what the color is. So we're going to do a test. What the color is which is going to come up. We're going to do a test. We're going to do 3 test runs. Okay, are we ready? This is white, yes. And for who don't know, that's black over there. Just about. Okay, so are we ready?
Yes. Red. Green. Blue.
Okay. Are we ready?
Black. Yellow.
You now need to speed up. Yeah, speed up.
Yellow. Red. Blue. Blue. Yellow. What's that? Green. Black. Orange. Blue. Red. Green.
Okay, what happened? The brain picks up the word. Now, the people who are more left brain are able to do this easier at a faster pace. They pick it up easier. But while the ones who are more on the right brain, it takes them a bit longer. They both can do it. It's just the processing it's telling you, I prefer a left brain way or I prefer a right way. We both use both sides. It's not that the right can't do it and the left can't do it. It's just, this is a piece of instruction I gave you, and the left brain is very based on logic specifics, while the right brain is more towards creativity, innovation. That's what it's towards that. Now, let's move a bit ahead in that. So there's a lot of confusion which happens. Some people just go all over the place. What happened? Question to you, all of you once again. Do you all have a brain? Okay. Well, we've been told we have a brain. We haven't seen it. Now, here's a very lovely picture of the brain. Trust everyone has a human brain. If you are an alien in this room, thank you for being at this session. Now, what is the brain used for?
Thinking, process information, and then actually direct it to your muscles.
Okay.
And also operating the whole, feeling from your senses.
The senses.
To your brain.
Okay. Anything else? Can we give her applause for that? Okay. Anything else? So you said thinking, operating the whole body, coordination. Anything else? Analyze, make things sense. Okay. Store memory. So here's what is happening. There's three main things the brain does. So this comes from latest neuroscience, applied neuroscience research. Three things it does: thinking, memory, instincts, and habits. Thinking, memory, instincts, and habits. These are the three major things the brain is involved in. I'm going to show you a very simple way of what happens. One of the brain models, which was discovered God knows how many years ago. And they call it the triune brain. Yeah, they call it the triune brain. And this is what the triune brain is. Okay. So what do you think that could possibly mean? Any idea? It means, the clue is in the first part. Triune, T-R-I. I think it's T-R-I. See, I'm very bad with spellings. This is my British education. That's my excuse. I think that's how you do it. T-R-U-I-N-E. Triune brain. Okay, triune brain. So somebody's doing a Google for me to confirm the spelling. Great, thank you so much. Okay, what do you think triune could possibly mean? Three, absolutely. Yeah, 3 dimensions. So this is what they discovered many, many years ago. This is a side section cortex. What do you think the neocortex does? It's your intelligence. So this is your left and your right brain, your left and your right brain. The whole thing is known as the neocortex. Usually people think we only have the left and the right brain and there's nothing else. We have more. We have something called the limbic brain. This is emotions. And this is the word I can never pronounce, so I use the other word. I call it or people call it the reptile brain. You mentioned the word before, amygdala. That's the one. Right? I don't even bother pronouncing it. Reptile brain. So limbic is about your emotions. This is about your intelligence. What about this? Instincts, your habits. When you think of a reptile, what comes into your mind?
Very basic thinking.
Very basic thinking. It's about survival. It's about comfort zone. It's about reproduction. They are not the type of reptile brain. So what you're doing at the moment, you're breathing, your heart beating, is thank God for this beautiful reptile brain. It's making sure you survive. And I'll do another exercise around this in a minute. Now, what happens is, and some salespeople are very aware of this. For me, I personally find this as an unethical way of selling. But people do this. Most people think when you're communicating with someone else, you need to start with the intellect and go down. But as humans, we are not really functioning like that. We think the other way. I'll take a classic example, what life insurance people do. Okay, so life insurance people, your name was?
Me.
May, okay. So I'm a life insurance person, I'll pretend, and I approach May, and I start having a conversation, find out about her family and everything. And who's in your family?
Me.
Anyone else?
No.
Anyone else, like brothers, sisters?
Sisters.
Yeah, nieces, nephews?
Yes.
Okay, so any of the nephews, nieces, any of them favorites of yours?
Yes.
Okay, so the salesperson starts finding them, so builds that connection. Now, she might talk about one of the nephew or one of the nieces with a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. And then, salespeople, at this particular point, will ask, May, do you have life insurance? And she, in this scenario, will say, no. At that particular point, many of these salespeople will go,
Okay.
yeah. And they will turn around and say, what if something happens to you? What about your beautiful nieces and nephews? So they're working on that fear factor. What is that creating as far as the emotion is concerned? Fear, worry, frustration. What if does something happen to you? At this point, they bring out some documentation or paperwork and show you, hey, I've got a lovely life insurance, which if anything happens to you, May, your lovely nephews and nieces will be taken care of. So they hit the intellect at the last point. And by this time, the emotions are so over the place, I will buy the insurance. Now, this is happening a lot where people are picking up this is what's happening. But this is what's happening. These salespeople, a number of them are not aware, but people who start studying sales, or even in relationships you're doing, they realize you have to work from downwards to upwards, not the intellect, upwards. Unfortunately, many salespeople are misusing this. And to an extreme, they're misusing it. Manipulation. That's what's happening. And I'm making you aware that this is what happens in sales. And that's one of the reasons when I looked at other salespeople, I was not comfortable with them because they did a lot of this. Now, yes, the client needs to be aware of a certain, if there's a pain, they need to be aware of it. I'm not saying that. But that doesn't mean that if somebody is, if you are hurt and if you keep on poking that, do you think it's going to heal? No. It's not going to heal. So if you keep on poking that pain point, they're going to feel worse and worse. It's not good for the client. So you have to show them what the solution is. Or what are the possible solutions? So more towards the ethical sales side of things, what's with here. You see people who are gurus in sales, a lot of them use this. So you do those spontaneous buys at certain workshops or certain seminars is because they tend to work in this manner. It's a very sad thing. A lot of information they give is amazing, but when they start doing this, it's not a nice thing. For me, it's unethical, but people do that. Now, you need to just be aware of what's happening. So when you're dealing with your client, that's why when I said in the beginning, what are the challenges, problems, issues are your clients facing? And that's the reason they've come to you. So you need to know actually what is that thing which is bothering them that's asking them, oh, I want to come and actually buy some land. You need to be fully aware of it. Otherwise, you cannot really work with them. It gets very tough to work with them. You're not aware of what the emotions are going on there, and you can't then have an intellectual conversation with them. Most people start on the intellect part, but as humans, we are designed to work the other way around. We need to feel comfort. You ever heard the word, get out of your comfort zone?
Yeah.
If you get out of your comfort zone, you are now in your panic zone, in your war zone. And I've spoken to a couple of people in the army, it's not a nice place to be in a panic, in a war zone. It's not about getting out of your comfort zone, it's stretching your comfort zone. Look at yourself in your own lives. When you go home, you probably have that space at home where you feel the most comfortable. What if that comfort was taken away from you? How would you feel about it? Not nice. So it's not about comfort. It's not going into that lazy zone. So you need to stretch, expand the comfort zone. So this is what you're doing with the client, is helping them expand their comfort zone by knowing what they value the most. So how do we find out, working out what is that value? So from a heart perspective, you've got that trust, that support, that resolve. Now let's look at, with latest neuroscience, applied neuroscience, what's happening. What's been discovered is there are 4 elements which happens in the brain, 4 things which are happening. Usually they've divided into 4, that's what they've done. And literally, these are the 4 things which happens. You'll meet people, and this happens with you as well. You work like this as well, I work like this as well. You want feelings to your conversations. You need some kind of innovation, i.e. that ideas. You need specifics with what I'm going to buy. And I need the practical reasoning, is this even worth for me? We go through all 4 of this. But here's the thing. We don't always start from the same point. All of us, for all I know, May's thinking starts from feelings. And then she might go to reasoning. And then she might come to specifics, and then she comes to ideas. It's how I go around. So how do I deal with the client based on that? Now, let's look at it a bit more further. So, facts, reasoning, idea, spontaneous, details, and specifics and emotions. Yeah? These tend to be the 4 quadrants. We are not restricted to them, but we have a domineering part, or what we prefer. And it also depends on what kind of product or service we're going to buy. We change. Yeah? If I'm going to buy land, it could be a completely different thinking to buying a bottle of water. The processing I do in my brain. This is not personality behavior. If any one of you thinking this is personality, it's not that. It's now going deeper. It's how you as an individual, the brain operates. That's why it's called neuroscience. It's applied neuroscience, which that's what we're looking at over here. So let's look at this a bit further. So reasoning, spontaneous, details, specifics, and feelings. This is the next thing which I would like you to do. Reasoning, spontaneous, specific. If you're dealing with someone who's a reasoning person, How do you think, what behavior characteristics will they display in a conversation with you? What will their buying style be? When they are buying, what will they be looking for? What are the things you would see in them? Details? Anything else? Returns? Anything else? Proof, track records. They want the practical element to be there. Yeah? So if you look at it, functionality, cost effectiveness, the practicality, what is the return on investment? That's where their focus would be. That doesn't mean they will not go to the other parts, but that's where the main focus would be. Okay, someone who you're dealing who's buying on a feeling basis, how do you think their interaction would be? Relationship, anything else? Empathize, good feel, trust. So a lot of the emotional part will come out of it. Okay? Relationship, opinions of other people. This is where you might have a client who is unable to make a decision because they need to talk to someone else and you're not even aware of it. You think that sale is going to really happen? Not really, because you've not done the qualification good enough, not asked the right questions to find out, is there someone else who this person, they might be the budget holder who's going to buy it, but they discuss it with someone else. Okay, what about spontaneous? What would a spontaneous person be looking for? Opportunity. Anything else? Connect. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Think about people who just, when the first iPhone came, why did they go and buy it? Prestige, urgency, it's the new great thing going on. Yeah? It's like, wow, wow, wow. Yeah? It's the uniqueness which they're looking for. And then, you have the next one, specifics. They want details. Is this reliable? Is this safe to it? Are you established enough? All of your clients will go through this when they're buying. All of them will go through this. And the thing is, before you even get to go here, you need to know what you are doing. Because you also sell in a certain style. You could be selling on a feeling basis while, let's look at it this way. If you're a feeling person and you're selling to someone on a reasoning, who's a reasoning person, how do you think that sale is going to go?
Very bad.
Why? It's the complete opposite. So you need to first be aware how you are selling. Awareness is a very crucial thing of how I like to be sold to, and that's how we start selling to other people. And unknowingly we start doing that. Unconsciously we start doing it. So we need to be first aware of that. That's one thing. Okay. So this is what's happening buying. When you're buying or when you are dealing with clients, this is what I call Trinity of I. These are the three things which happen. You are either informing, you're either influencing, or you're inspiring. Or you could do all three of things. It's not necessary you just doing one of them. It could be a combination of things. Think about the clients you've dealt with who bought with you or who have not bought from you. They probably fall into one of these categories or overlap. Simple, straightforward. Three things which are happening when you're delivering your message. You're informing, you're influencing, or you're inspiring. Now, let's look at the buyers again, which is spontaneous, feeling, reasoning, and specific. Feeling person, feeling buyer, where would they fit on this inform, inspire, influence? Influence, okay. What about someone who is a specific person, looks at details? Inform. So it's up to you, while you're having that qualification with the client, to understand where do they fit and accordingly decide, I need to inform them rather than influence or inspire them, because it's not going to work with them. So you have to adapt yourself. A salesperson, a professional salesperson, especially someone who's a compassionate salesperson, adaptability, versatility and flexibility are very, very crucial to them. Now, that's one thing. You have a product, you sell it to clients. It can be other products, whatever you do, if you do something else. This is what they call the abstractometer. Now let's look at this. You've got on one side, if you look at the picture of the heart, what do you look, when you look at it, what do you see? What kind of, does it attract you, this part? Yeah, this one? Why? Blood, gory.
Truth.
Yeah, it's too much. Okay. What about on the other side, this part?
Boring.
Don't even know what it is. What about this? Just right. It's, I understand what the message is. And you need to learn how to develop your style so that the client can understand the message in their world, not what's happening in your world. So when people say to me USP, it doesn't mean anything to a client. It really doesn't mean. Look at the unique perceived benefit from a client's perspective. Look at from their perspective, are they a reasoning person? Are they a specific person? Are they a feeling person? Are they a spontaneous idea person? So based on that, what you need to decide is you need to be concise with the message which you're delivering in their map of the world. Not your map of the world, their map of the world. You need to make it relevant to them, not to you, but to what they like, how they understand, and finally, create curiosity. You know, that how can this actually benefit them? We all live on curiosity. Think about in your life all the curious things. Oh, I want to go and visit Dubai. I'm curious what it's going to be like. And you end up in Dubai in the middle of August and it's burning. Not a good time to go. Not at all. So you have to apply that with your client. So let's look at a bit further how you would communicate with these 4 styles. Very crucial. How would you communicate with these 4 styles? So let's look at it. With the reasoning person, how do you believe, how do you think you could communicate with them? Why? Give the facts. Okay? Literally, yeah. What is the logic? What are the terms and conditions? Okay? Give me the correct information. I need a lot of information for me to make a decision if it's worth it for me or not. These are the types of people where they expect you to give the information rather than they keep on asking you the questions. And you need to actually give them that final brief saying, any questions, please ask. What else do you want to know? You have to give them that open window. What about feeling person? How do you think they would communicate? Feeling people, how do you think they will communicate? How would you communicate with them? Talk about their lives. What else? Family, what's happening in the world, bigger picture.
Make them feel praise them, bend them.
Yeah, so now the thing is, it has to be a genuine thing. Genuinely do that. That's very, very crucial. Because we do as salespeople have this habit of sometimes not being genuine. Yeah? Yeah. So we have to actually look at the feeling perspective of things. We have to have that, I'm listening to you. It might be nothing about the product or service. They're talking about the bad trip they had coming to this place. You listen to them. We talk about other things and then you come to whatever's required. What about the spontaneous people? How would you communicate with them? What is the communication style they would prefer? The in thing about the birthday, right? Isn't it? The brand. It's like, wow, prestige. So you're looking at metaphors to illustrate points. So like I use the metaphor again and again of the iPhone. They connect to that much quicker when you start using metaphors, because you need the communication clear with them. Yeah? Potential. What is the potential of you buying this piece of land? Because you have enough figures and facts about it, so there is potential about it. Yeah? They get distracted very, very easily. If you throw too many options at them, what will happen? They might not even come back to you because there's too much options, distraction. So you have to be limit the options. And if they're not happy with that, then you look at the other options. But you have to be careful with them. Distraction is like that with them. Okay, specifics, details. They want details. Details, that's what they want. Is it safe? Okay. Is there a plan to it? Are these people reliable enough? Yeah. They want you to listen to them. Yeah. They expect that you will listen to them on everything. I want this, this, this. I want this, this, this. They want everything in that perspective. So, my experience going around the globe, seeing the different learning styles, or not the learning styles, the sales styles I've seen, is the most powerful one comes to one who is actually a compassionate salesperson. A person who is there to resolve the issues. Now, I hear this again and again in sales where they talk about you need to be aggressive with your sales. You probably heard this in other workshops, be aggressive, be domineering. My question to all of you is, what does aggression mean? What does domineering mean? Bully, pushy. Yeah. How would you like it if somebody's bully, pushy, and shows anger towards you? Call the police. Not comfortable. No one feels comfortable. And now you have these sales gurus who go out and say, be aggressive, be domineering. You don't like it yourself and you're going out and doing a sale like that. It's not about being aggressive or being or domineering. It's about being assertive. It's about being in that mindful state where the client can connect with you and you can connect with them. So it's assertiveness which is required. Not aggression, not domination. Questions? Any questions? Now, some of you, I believe you've done the DISC profiling and so forth. So you might say, oh, this has got nothing to do with this. DISC looks at behavior, personality, very up level, which is very helpful. This is more looking at how a human brain operates. What is the preferred way of operating? If you are aware of how things operate, it's easy to connect with them. Personality and behaviors are very shaky. Operations we tend to do in a certain way. And they do change over time, but we all operate in a certain way. For me, I personally operate on a feeling basis. And then I go into the others. Then if I'm buying something like a land, I want specifics, really detailed, where the salesperson gets annoyed with me. That's what happens. But then I'll have my brother, who's a serial entrepreneur. He is basically what's unique, what's new in the market, and now tell me the logic behind it. Is this why should I buy this? Simple. That's what he does. That's how he operates. So it's not about the personality, it's how as an individual person operates. That's what needs to be looked at. When you connect that with that value aspect, it's much easier for someone to buy from you rather than you selling to them. Any questions? Has this been helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we have to integrate it into our application.
Yeah.
The application to use it to get people to buy our land.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the following up,
after you've already done the presentation. It's about how to be careful not to be pushy. The following up session, right? Just to be cautious that they are still comfortable with you, and at the same time, how long can we actually, give them some time to think about it, and if they will, that is the
Okay.
only that we still
So
have.
what do you do now at the moment to do that?
Oh, what I'll do is because sometimes for our case, it's about they couldn't decide yet. So what I'll do is I'll just, before I end the presentation, I will just share with her that, okay, what do you expect? What would you be expecting from me for the next following? Maybe you might be expecting a courtesy call from my side to check what's your, is it okay, that kind of thing. Next year is fine. But after a while, she kept on bragging. Somewhat, there must be something that is actually stalling her. So I actually said, I don't want to inform so much, but is there any way that you can tell me upfront, if you don't mind sharing any other things that I have actually not explained clearly, or is there any way that I can maybe clarify, not for you to come in, but just to clarify, just to explain further, but it's more for your further understanding. It's not for you to come.
Yeah.
I don't know whether is it because it's the first time for her hearing this, so they are very extra cautious.
Okay. Now, through my experience, when I've seen some of the great salespeople, one of the things they say is, our expectation is this. What is your expectation? Okay. They also timeline in saying this, we have a timeline of this much, and this is by usually what the client does. What are you looking at? So you have to come into a middle ground. So it's about getting those clarity in the beginning when you're qualifying the client, where you can go one step deeper with them. Because unless the qualification is not clear, and that usually comes through your questioning, if that's not clear, then these are the challenges we start facing is, oh, am I being too pushy? Am I being very persistent? So you have to let them know this is the expectation we have from our side. I need to know what is your expectation from your side. So I'm not pestering you. And if you are not willing to make a buy, it's okay. But you have to get that clear in that initial talks with the client. And most clients, from my experience and from other people's, I've sort of spoken to some of the great salespeople, is like, this works the best way because you're open. Simple as that. Transparency is very crucial. Yeah? Anyone else? Does that answer your question? Anyone else? Questions?
The sales is actually done way before the presentation. From what I get from you.
Yeah. It is. You see, it's when you do a presentation is a different thing. The sales part, you have to go back to the fact, how does a human being function? It's emotions, it's memories, it's a lot of things. So this is what happens is, the brain is a very, very complex, very advanced piece of machine. It can be conditioned. So you see a lot of people use the word programming. Your brain is not a program. It is not a hard disk. You can get conditioned to many different environments. If tomorrow the economy, something happens, God forbid happens in Singapore, and it falls down, you will condition yourself to find a way to work around that. A hard disk cannot do that. No matter what kind of programming, it cannot do that. You'll have to get a new hard disk and new program. Does that mean that you kill yourself? Yeah, you can't do that. So the brain is very intelligent in that perspective. That's why adaptability, flexibility, and versatility is extremely important. Now, what happens is when you're dealing with clients, do you know when you're dealing with clients, and if a client is upset, or even you, if you're upset, what is the first thing which switches off in your brain? Shuts off. What is it? Your thinking cuts off. Remember a time when you're angry, what happened to you? or you were upset. You lose your head. Why do you lose your head? And it comes down to how you function as a human being. What happens to our breathing? What happens to the temperature of our body? What happens to the stress level in our body? We go into stress, even though it's this is off, completely off. It's same as when when people drink, the first thing which shuts off, thinking.
That means the neocortex is not working. You become a reptile.
Okay, so comfort, enjoyment. No, but she is right. Just put in layman's terms, that's what it is. Because at the front, this is I think they call it the prefrontal lobe. That's where the thinking happens. Yeah? So this was the old model, but in the new model, they talk about the prefrontal lobe. This thinking cuts off. And this is why when we're looking at, so when I ask you to do this, has anyone ever read any body language books, or have you heard any people say, put your hands like this? Have you ever seen, what have you heard about this? Thinking mode. So let's do a very, very quick experiment on this. So if I am sitting like this, what does this come across as? Observing. Anything else? Analyzing. Could possibly be closed. Focus, technical. Okay, what if I put it down over here like this? More relaxed. So depending on where we are, the meaning to the other person changes. Even though you're over here like this, you're in focus, you're here with this focus, is just the movement of the hand where it is, the perception changes. Now, many people who teach you about body language, they talk about this and they say, if you're like this, you're in control, you're domineering, and you're the man, or the girl, or the woman. But it's not necessary that's the case. Because when I put it down over here, it could mean the same thing. Another body language. When people are standing like this. Okay, so closed. Who taught you that's closed? Books taught you. So am I closed at the moment?
No.
Why? What makes you think I'm not closed?
You're just
Your
I could be cold. So stop believing and what books are saying. Start experimenting and experiencing what do you see yourself. I've seen some conversations where people are really listening and they're like focused and their hands are like this. You see the classic examples in photographs when they stand like this. Is that closed? So we can read books and we can say, oh, they're right. But look at what your experience tells you. Find out your own truth rather than just depending on these books. They have a certain truth to it, but experience your own truth as well. So I'll give you a reason about this and I'll explain. Okay, so we'll do a very quick exercise and then we'll close. Yeah? So I want everyone to get up, please. Shake your hands, legs. Okay, done? Okay, awesome. This is what I'm going to ask you to do. This is something which I learned from this was through the works of Amy Cuddy. She's a professor in Harvard University, and it was on power posing. Power posing. So power pose, in simple terms, is the classic superhero or superwoman. That's the power pose. Standing like this is a power pose. This is considered as a power pose. If you look at leaders, speakers, you see how much they do that? Because it puts them in a state of... That's the reason they do it. You saw Trump when he did his first, he was like this. And you saw, whoa, he seems calm. Because it does help. Now, that's a power pose. The power pose, if you look at bodybuilders, can you see my muscles? So you've got power poses in different ways. Even in the animal kingdom, you see the power pose when people go like this. When someone wins something, what do? They usually go like this. And even the people who cannot see, when they win something, they can't see, but they still go like this. So it's all considered a power pose. So what I want you to do is, I would like you to do a power pose. Doing this, or doing this is not a power pose. Yeah? So you can choose this as a power pose, stand like this, you can do this if you want, you can do this, but use a power pose which you're comfortable. No crossing hands like this, just either like this or to the side or whichever. Find a power pose which you like. Right? One hand circle as well. Yeah? So find a power pose which you like. Yeah? Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, power pose. But you're going to be a bit uncomfortable staying like this. So find a power pose which you like. And I want you to now repeat these statements after me. Are we ready? Yeah. All ready? I'm beautiful.
I'm beautiful.
I'm awesome.
I'm awesome.
I'm simply the best.
I'm simply the best.
Okay, great. So now we're going to do a non-power pose, and I'm going to ask you to do a specific one just to show you difference, what's happening. I want you to cross your arms, and I just want you to look down, and here we go. Repeat after me. I'm beautiful.
I'm beautiful.
I'm awesome.
I'm awesome.
I'm simply the best.
I'm simply the best.
Well done. Let's sit down. Power pose or the non-power pose, which one was much better for you? Now, tell me, why was the power pose much more better for you?
Because the heart and the brain is connected.
Okay. Is that what you think, or is that something I've told you?
You just told
No.
us.
I want you to tell from your own experience, not what I've said.
Because the head is looking down. It's not naturally
It's-
looking down to feel.
Okay. So that's why. Any other reasons? Let it go. Okay. Anything else? Relax. Okay.
No energy.
No energy. The energy was low when you were like this. Now let's look at it very scientifically. What's going on? The brain, or even the body, what does it need? Oxygen. So if you remember, and I'm sure some of you who've got kids, you probably say to your children, stand up straight, sit up straight, don't slouch. What is the reason you say that for them? Posture. Let's look at it one step deeper. The moment I do this, what am I doing now? So oxygen-wise, what am I doing? I'm restricting. How much do you think I'm breathing like this compared to this? Significantly reduces. So we spoke about the brain. The reptile brain is about survival. So as soon as you do this, you reduce the amount of oxygen you're taking in. And if you're reducing the amount of oxygen you're taking, the reptile brain says, switch off. I don't need you. I need to survive as a human being. That's the reason. And that's why, if you look at it from that perspective, it's for your own health benefit. And because you're in that energy, because when you were up like this, you had a lot of energy, instead of this, the other person also perceives, wow, a lot of energy. Looks good, instead of... That's the reason why it happens. It's not because some body language expert has said, this is what makes you look closed. Think for yourself what's going on. Look at the truth. Look at what you're experiencing. How does this make me feel? And how does this make me feel? How does this make me feel? Experience it and do what makes your energy go up. When the energy is up, this both connects automatically anyways. Questions? Any questions? Comfortable? Yes. Final exercise. Promise, then we close. Sales. Listening is very crucial. In fact, even in your relationships, anything you do, listening is very important. So let's do this very, very final, and then I'll say finish khalas. Khalas is finish in Arabic. Stand up, please. Shake your hands. Okay, and your legs as well. Okay. Take your right hand and lift it. Okay. Now, just make sure you're not hitting anyone. Although if you want to hit someone, that's your prerogative. I have not asked you to hit anyone. I want you to take this hand and I want you to join the thumb and the index finger, please. Yeah, thumb and the index finger. I never knew this was an index finger until about 4 years ago. I used to call it the pointy finger. So you take this and I want you to listen to what I'm saying and do by listening to what I'm saying. Yeah, are we ready? I want you to take this and I want you to take this and put it on your chin, please. On your chin, please. Where's your chin? Where's your chin? Your chin's over here, not over here. Okay. Please sit down. We follow people. We tend to follow people rather than listening. And sales, listening is one of the crucial skills. Even in our relationships, listening is so crucial, and it's the most ignored communication skill. Listen, what's going on. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. You can pat yourself as well for doing a great job, and you can slap each other for saying wonderful people.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.